My mom also didn't finish. I think my mom finished elementary, and then she later did her secondary school later on after like her second child, which is me. And then after that, and that was when she was looking to get some type of job because things weren't really looking good for my dad. Like, imagine if my mom was already educated at the time that things weren't really going well, then my mom wouldn't have to go back to do that. I see her joke about it and make comments like, "Na night school I do." And it's so sad. But my mom is just a girl, okay? And at the beginning of when I wanted to take this radical decision to say, oh, I must go school, like, let me be the first girl in my family to end this course.
There was a time that voting in elections, you have to be a man to vote in elections. You have to be a man to make decisions. While women were left in the domestic field, they were just doing kitchen duties, taking care of the children, making family decisions. You put a woman to make family decisions, but that same woman cannot make political decisions. Everybody's seeing the man as the head now. Okay, I be chairman for you. You're a woman. Shut your mouth. You don't have anything to say. That's one thing that led to one story I love so much, the Aba Women's Riots in 1929. They said about 50 women they lost their lives due to that protest, but I love it that it was a revolutionary change.
That's what she said.
I'm to be a commodity, part recreation, part reproduction. I'm to be a currency, a price to pride over masculinity. I'm to be all I am told to be. But today, I'm everything I'm not supposed to be. I'm a glitch in societal programming. I'm becoming a bug in the system. I'm a crack in the matrix wall. I'm a wrecking ball. Smashing doors, smashing laws. I'm a crack code, reading status quo. I go breaking iron bars and glass ceilings. I'm demanding, intruding, overcoming the lies and the prejudice. And no, I'm not easy. I'm busy. Making waves, making ways, making space in this place, in this room, in this world. I'm empowered to empower. I inspire representation, inclusion, mutual respect. I'm direct impact on society. I'm equality. I'm woman. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hafsat Abdullahi. Most people know me as Havi. I am the Global Youth Leader for Education, global poet, and a human rights activist. And I'm really excited because this is something I'm very, very passionate about. My piece is self-explanatory. We're talking about radical leadership in activism. And here with me in this room are two very amazing women, bringing them into the room to get to say their thoughts, their unfiltered, uncensored thoughts about the theme today. Welcome, and can we just get to know you like briefly?
Okay, my name is Toluwanimi Garba. I am a beauty content creator, a female face model, and I am passionate about women empowerment and women leadership, and that is why you find me in this space today.
Thank you. And that's what she said. And then we have another lovely, gorgeous, hardworking lady just sitting right across her.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Oreoluwa Adetula. I am a podcaster and a tech and media content creator. I am also a project and program manager for an edtech, an advocate for SDGs 4 and 5, and the work that I do surround empowering women in Africa using education and technology. I am thrilled to be here because this kind of conversations get me in the mood. So yes, thank you so very much for having me, and sit tight. You're about to get into a hot seat.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Come on.
Let's get the ball rolling. So the theme, like from a general point of view, the term radical has faced some type of a negative stereotype, yes, to it, right? Even from like my personal experiences as a young woman who has lived in northern Nigeria, I think I have experienced certain situation where if I dare say or call myself a radical, okay, I identify as a feminist, but if I dare say, insert the word radical to it, then they come the whole, now one of them, those so-called radical feminists, like they've started. and then they suit up to argue or have a very, very serious mental gymnastic
Yeah.
in regards to the term radical. So from your personal experiences and perspective, what do you think is influencing the reality where the word radical is faced with some type of opposition or is not looked upon as a positive word in its sense? As women, we had the word exists also because we at a point in our life and at a point as Nigerian young women, we had to go out of our comfort zone to do certain things or to fight certain things. You have to be radical at some point.
You have to
be
be.
able to get what you want. Like,
You have to be.
personally, right?
I think there's a lot, but I think if we just start from how you started with the piece that you read at the beginning, I think that sort of helps us answer the question. When you come into the world as a woman, there is a way that you're viewed. There is a way that the society already confines you in a box. Right? One of the things I hated hearing as a kid was, "Yeah, girl, act like
You're
a girl.
supposed to."
Yeah, girl, you're supposed to." Like, I was like, what does that mean? So because I'm a girl, I can't play football, or because I'm a girl, I can't, jump around and play with sand and do what makes me happy. Like, act like a lady. I hated hearing that phrase so much. So oftentimes, even right from childhood, you get to hear little phrases like, "Oh, act like a girl."
Yeah.
And what people don't know is that that's a very confining phrase. And so the moment you try to do anything that goes out of that,
Contrary.
you're radical. You want to join them. You're a feminist. Even without necessarily waiting to understand where this person is coming from.
They're already labeling
They
you.
already label you
You're
that way.
radical.
So I feel like just because you're growing up in a society that seeks to confine you in a box as much as they can, the moment you try to take a step out of everybody, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
another thing is our tradition, like in Nigeria normally, they believe once you're a girl, you belong to doing only womanly duties. You belong to the kitchen, you belong to taking care of the children. You don't even have time for yourself. You don't have to do anything. The only thing they believe is the man is the head. So anything the man says, I must follow. And I hate that statement. Like, that's one thing I always commend my mom for. My mom, she evolves with the world. I call her Gen Z mom because right now, whatever our mom taught her back then is for
Emphasis
back
on
then.
evolved with the
Evolved.
world.
Right now.
Yeah.
She would not tell me that, okay, my mommy told me that I must be in the kitchen alone, so you
So
must
you're
be in the
supposed to
kitchen.
be.
She doesn't, even to my dad. I told them I want to be in the content space. My mom had to call my dad and tell him that, okay, this is what this girl wants to do. She has her life. Let her live her life. So when you bring up children in a way that a woman is to be in the kitchen alone, she's to be cooking for the man, she's to be washing the man's clothes, she's to be taking care of the children alone, they would end up growing up raising their kids with that same ideology
mentality,
too.
and
So when they want to stand up for themselves in the society, when they learn new things, that okay, they'll be like, okay, now I want to be radical. People just be like, who is this one? What are you doing? And it's not supposed to be so. There should be a change, and that change, it is coming soon. We are taking over as
It's
women,
here.
and that's
That's
all.
what
change
she
period.
said. Like, okay.
Just to add a
And that's
little
on
to
period.
what
Yeah,
she
yeah.
said, as you said something about how that we live in a country where you're expected to do wifely and motherly duties.
Things, yeah.
First of all, as opposed to you being a human being. I just suddenly remember something that happened to me while I was in school. And I can't even remember where I met this bunch of guys from. Right? And then, the whole conversation started and we're like, oh, but whatever your husband does, you have to take care of it. Like, you have to take it like that. And I was like, no. And then, like, would you stay for your children?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to choose to lay down my life just so that I can please another human being.
Yeah.
That's not, and they were so taken aback, like, and then there's this statement that guys always say, like, you don't know what you're saying, you've not gotten there yet. Don't tell me
What I will do.
What I
Yes,
will do.
This is my story.
This is my story. This is my
I
life.
decide, yeah.
I will decide what I want to do. So when you said that, it just took me back, and I was like,
Which is not fair because this negative perception of the word radical has also limited women from actually being themselves, like
Yeah.
their true self. But my personal definition of radical, I will use my experience, right? When I was younger, being radical is like your defense mechanism against a system that was designed to shut you down.
definitely.
It's daring to stand where you're not even supposed to dare to stand in it, right? So personally, in my story, I'm going to use my story as a way to define my, like, what I think personally, right, radical, the term radical connotes.
Okay.
Like, I grew up in northern Nigeria. I say this everywhere. I say this all the time. I grew up in northern Nigeria, and in northern Nigeria is heavily dominated by the Muslims. And I grew up in a Muslim household, so we already have like a conservative system with our culture in Nigeria. And in that household, there are certain kind of limitations or certain kind of expectation. That piece I wrote, right? It was inspired from the Shakespeare statement, "To be and not to be." Right. And then I was wondering, like, to be, like, what am I even supposed to be? Like, what the hell is even what I am supposed to be? And then I dare to say I'm everything I am not supposed to be, because if I to follow the trajectory of my life,
Yeah.
my destiny is that by now I should be like the mother of 4 or 5 to
Maybe
one
6.
alhaja. Yeah, 6. And then I won't be educated. Like, my education would have stopped in secondary school, and then it would just end there like that. So my first attempt at being radical in that sense is that my father is a highly traditional person, and then he did not see the education of a female person, of his female child, as important, because then it's a wonder you get married and then you take the name of another person. Like, you don't even bear my name. Oh. This government name is not when you marry, because my father's faith is Muslim, but my mother's faith is Christian, right?
Okay.
He had the belief that my husband's religion is my religion, so he didn't really bother about us following my brothers are Muslim. If you see them, they look like old Malo boys, very Muslim looking. But me, you can see from my attire that I'm not really.
You're not even
covered.
covering your hair.
So I followed my mom's religion, but you could tell that he had the belief. He didn't bother us because he had the belief that I will end up with a Muslim man, because he won't allow me marry like a Christian person. And when I do end up with a Muslim man, his religion is mine. That is to show how insignificant
You actually are to
I
him.
am in his eyes.
Yeah.
So when I finished secondary school, no one said anything about my higher education. I'm a girl, like, who cares anyways? I had to make the decision, a very, very drastic decision that goes in contrary to what a normal girl of that kind of geographical location would dare to do, where I said, you know what, me, this university, I must go. They say, if you will go, you will fund yourself, because me, I don't have money. Now I had to go get a job. And then when I did get a job in a bookstore, I stayed there for like 2 years before I finally like gathered money to go into the university, right? But while I was there, I thought I was in my silent phase, but I think it helped me to be more grounded. My friends were in school. I was already seeing Facebook was trending then. So Instagram was very happening in 28. And then I was just there, stagnant. And the money I was making was not even like enough
To write home about.
Yes, I'm saving up, but it's not saving enough. So I wanted to go to UI because I wanted to leave the North. I felt like the North was also limiting me.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful because at the end of the day, education is education. It doesn't matter where you find it. I didn't even get the choice that I originally wanted, but I'm glad I got this other choice. I think God actually wanted this to happen. I dare say so. But I went to pick Ahmadu Bello University because it was one of the most affordable school fees I could find online. So it even robbed me the freedom of choice because of I didn't have money and now I wanted to fund myself. And now I couldn't even go to the university that I wanted because I was looking for the cheapest university. At least let me just further education. And I rugged them. That's the thing. I rugged them. When I was going, I just no. There was this. Even the day that I was packing, there was this air in the house. I think it was only my siblings that were a little bit emotional about my leaving the house and everything. But we're 5. We're a family of children of 5, and I have 2 elder sisters. And I dare say that I'm the only one that graduated from a university in my home. Yeah, 2 of my sisters are married now. The other one ended in secondary school. She didn't further. The eldest one went to a poly. After she finished from poly, I think she got married. She finished from Polytechnic, Bida Poly, then she got married. But I was the only person that dared to say, see this thing, that it ran in the family till it ran into me, I must go to school.
And it's paid off.
Doing that thing now has put me in a position where they'll call me, tell me as radical. This girl is stubborn. This girl too open. Her eye don't dirty. She wants to go. But imagine daring to make anything you do that is to the betterment of your life as an individual, that the society limits you from, that you have to fight your way to get it, is my definition of radical. And if that is bad, then I'm not sorry.
You should not be.
I'm not sorry.
Let me tell you one experience I had. I was in secondary school then. I was almost removed as the head girl because I was radical. When I was in secondary school, you see other head girls. When I was a junior, other head girls, okay, they have said this one, follow this one. They have made this rule, follow this rule. But in my own turn, I always wanted to question it. That why do we have to do it this way?
Yes.
Is it wrong? So that particular situation, I was in a boarding school, so our school's director, sometimes she would just come to talk to girls, like as our female children, how you shouldn't mess around with boys and all. She even told us the way we should be dressing, that men are attracted by what they see. So we should try our best not to wear armless clothes. We shouldn't wear trousers. We should put on skirts. And you know, the funniest thing is, most of the skirts we had, they are even short skirts.
Why can't men control their own eyes?
When I put on a skirt, and my legs, I don't even know how to sit down properly. My legs will be wide open. So what you don't want them to see with trousers, they're seeing with a skirt. So we had an incident. We were supposed to go to chapel that Sunday. SS3 students, it was our final year. You know, sometimes SS3 students are usually stubborn during their final term. So we didn't go to the hostel, and we didn't go to church. So the male hostel master came to the hostel to come and call us, and he saw a girl that was naked there. And she just ran in. She started crying. So when she started...
He saw her and he entered.
That didn't register.
There's a passage.
I heard you, but it did not register.
So there was a lady.
He saw, and he stood there.
And
didn't
he
move.
still went. He came inside the main room.
Why
But
did
the
you
rest
do that?
of us were dressed up. And I just started shouting at him that, what are you doing here? And the next thing he told me is, very rude girl. You don't even have manners. Your mother did not train you right. I told him that even my father, he was saying that he has a daughter at home. So what do we have that he has not seen, that he doesn't have a daughter that has, even his daughter is older than us. And I told him that even the father that gave birth to me, before he comes into my room, he will knock. You cannot just see my father barge into my room. So this matter, it was so serious. I went to the school's director because I'm the head girl, and I said I am radical. You cannot come and tell me that because you believe in something, I should then go for it.
What is
I went to meet
wrong?
her that
Is wrong?
She took that matter with levity, and I don't know why. Later on, I found out that they were related in a way.
Oh my
But
God.
I went to meet her. I told her that you're the same person that told us that men are attracted by what they see. When you see us put on armless clothes, trousers, you will shout at us that we are attracting boys. But now the hostel master saw a female naked student, and he's still shouting at us that we are useless girls, we are this, we are that. And the next thing I got is, you are too stubborn, you are too rude, your mother did not train you right. That I'm the most stubborn head girl she has had. She was going to remove me. And I'm like, what? Remove me because I'm standing for my rights?
Do you realize how they are blaming her mother?
Do you get? She told me to shut up, and I walked away. Although I had just like 2 months to finish secondary school. I was like, okay, so if I didn't really write an apology letter, you'd have removed me because I challenged you. And
what you were challenging them for was something that was right. Same as how I'm fighting my way to get education. And I'm radical, and I'm brazen, and too opinionated. Now your mother did not raise you right.
Exactly.
Because a man dared to look at a girl that was butt naked. Do you see a pattern?
Yeah.
Do you see a pattern?
I feel like as women, we owe it to ourselves to be each other's keeper.
Yeah.
That's
You owe it to every other woman out there to stand up for her. Because why would that happen? And you think that the next best thing to do would be to lay insult on someone who is standing up for what is right?
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade.
true.
Irrespective. And there's this thing that we have in Nigeria especially, where we try to put age above every wrong thing. That was so. I'm the youngest child in my family, and I lived growing up in a Yoruba family. I was the youngest grandchild, and I asked a lot of questions growing up. And in my culture, they have this thing where you don't ask questions. You just take things as they are. But I always ask questions. Why should I call somebody auntie? Why is it that you are saying something and I cannot say my own piece?
Even if it's wrong.
Even if it's wrong. And then they're like, no, the elder cannot be apologizing to the young. And I'm like, but the elder is wrong. So does that mean that I can do wrong as long as I'm older? Because that is the message.
Valid question.
That is the message.
That's a valid
That's the message
question.
you're passing across. And every time I tried to ask these questions, I was always shut down. I would say though that in some ways I was privileged to grow up with parents who were a lot more understanding of my tendencies. I use the word tendencies because I have never been a backbencher. I have never been someone who just sits in.
back.
If I am in a room, if I am somewhere, everybody has to know I'm there. I have to do, and it's not like I'm intentionally jumping around.
You can't help it. You
I
can't
just
help
can't
your
help
light,
it. Right? I
yeah.
want to be involved.
Please wear your shades, so I'm shining. Sorry.
you. Right?
Can't be helped.
And at some point, initially, my parents used to have this, hey, girl, sit in one place. Don't go this way, don't go that way. But I had to stand up for myself. Right? I had to let them know that if I want to do something, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I like to say that my mom, she's just a girl.
Yeah.
Right? I look at her sometimes and I sort of see traces of who she could have been if at some point in time she did not
Enable you.
lose herself, for lack of a better word. My mom is one of the most dogged and stubborn women I've ever met in my life.
God. And I wouldn't go far from the
My
tree.
mother is stubborn. If she wants to do something, let the heavens be falling. She will do it. But she got married and things changed.
Priorities.
Priorities changed.
Yeah.
And for a while, my mom did not have a child for a very long time. And there's also this thing in the Nigerian society where if you're a married woman and you don't have a kid and you're working, right, people will come in for you.
Pressure you.
Right?
Lots
What
of
what's your
pressure,
focus?
left,
What
right,
exactly
and
are you
center.
doing? When you said that story, it really got to me because I'm like, especially for young girls in their adolescent phase, a lot
They
of things
tell
are
you.
happening to them.
Yeah.
And if that
And they
kind
don't
of
even understand.
they
or
don't
have
even
anyone to even, like,
understand
explain to them.
exactly.
It's
And
just so
if you
sad.
as the adult there, you don't think that is your responsibility
The
to
thing is,
stand
they
up
face
for
similar
them.
things when they were younger too, but it's so
Yes.
unfortunate that they will grow up and become the enablers of these things and continue the circle, the toxic circle,
need to
over and
break that
over and
cycle.
over again.
We need to break.
So
that
imagine
cycle.
life hitting you from every angle as a woman. How are we even going to dare to aspire for a position of leadership?
Exactly.
This thing you said about having it nearly got me thinking about my I'm supposed to host this. I'm not supposed to make this about myself because I'm about to get really emotional. Oh, okay. So it's got me to thinking. You said that your mom is just a girl, right? Personally, I felt like my mom is someone that she also got married very early, and my mom also didn't finish. I think my mom finished elementary, and then she later did her secondary school later on after like her second child, which is me. And then after that, and that was when she was looking to get some type of job because things weren't really looking good for my dad. Like, imagine if my mom was already educated at the time that things weren't really going well, then my mom wouldn't have to go back to do that. I see her joke about it and make comments like, "Na night school I do." And it's so sad. But my mom is just a girl, okay? And at the beginning of when I wanted to take this radical decision to say, oh, I must go school, like, let me be the first girl in my family to end this curse. Because my mom, even her own mother and the mother, the great-grandmother, they all did not do it. It was like a generational curse. That is what I dare to call it, right? My mom also kicked against it, right? She was like, where we won't get money, take fund the education. You might listen to the man. If he's like, you get to see that she protested from the beginning due to this conditioning I talked about. But at the end of the day, when she realized that I've taken the first step, the first radical step to actually pay my first school fees, I think my mom was the first person. Like, there are days when she would like smuggle gizzard. Like, she has this farm. My mom still does this thing. Like, my mom will fry gizzard and fry all sorts of things. Like, she didn't really have money to put in my hand at the second semester of my school, but she saw that this girl is actually doing it though. And then she found a way to, in her own way, go to the farm, get some really and things. She even makes soup, and then I think from here to Zara, from Niger, because we're in Niger at the time, to Zara it's like 4 hours. She'll wonder if the soup that she made for me will get spoiled before I get there and everything. Then I could just be in school and I would say, oh, a package came from all the way from Nigeria. It's your mom that sent it. So these little things were the things that actually kept me going. So somehow I felt like my mom was one of my biggest enabler, which goes back to that thing you said about having backing. There's certain things I refuse to take from the immediate society I found myself because of the fact that I remind myself that I was loved at home. I'll say, no, my mom did not, even my own mother will not do this to me, so I will not take this. So I think it also goes to show that I think I'm seeing a pattern, like this radical thing comes from the reality that our parents or our mothers actually played a huge role.
Yeah.
If you know that you have some type of backing from home, from where you are coming from, it gives you this reinforcement, this tenacity to actually stand firm whenever you're facing any kind of injustices in life and even in like your immediate this thing. Although when I was one of the very early people that was in class at the time, they were calling us to freshers. Now they'll say who is aspiring for the position of class rep. Right, there've never been a female class rep in history, and even in my set, we still didn't get. But I wanted to aspire for that role, but somehow I sat back. I was like, the fact that I'm here in this school is enough. Do you see how this conditioning have put us in a place where even if we get to like achieve even small, we don't dare to go for more. Daring for more is like asking for too much. Oh, I'm finally in school. That is enough. Let me just let some other guy be the class rep. At the end of the day, I helped a lot. I did a lot of things that I think they created even an award. Like that was the first of its kind. I think global icon of the year. That award has never existed in my set, and it was sent to me by the faculty. I think it was when I traveled I went to Vietnam. Then from Vietnam, I traveled to Geneva. Then after that, I tend to forget that I'm a voting member of the Grammys. Yeah, I guess to recommend artists and vote them. So I was able to like achieve so much in so little time. You could be so shocked at how much you can achieve in so 1 minute. I was just one typical like imagine I didn't dare to go to school. What would have happened?
What would have happened?
So there were days I wanted to quit and say, oh, see, I won't go out. You don't do. I don't tire. The days I don't have food. Also, girls supporting girls. When I moved back to the hostel, there were days, Princess Habiba Yusuf, wherever you are, God will bless you. She's one of those girls that she see it. I have pride. I have this innate pride. I don't like to ask for help. So when she notices that things are just tight, she just do it. She'll be like, oh, I thought today was your birthday. That's why I did it. It's like she'll do it to save me the stress. So aside in the little things like my mom, there are other women like Okonjo-Iweala, who is literally like one of the strongest women in trade and in finances in the face of Africa, not just Nigeria anymore. She has exited. She's faced a lot of backlashes.
So based on what I know, she's the first female and also first African to be appointed in her role as heading the World Trade Organization.
I
think
Nigeria's former Minister of Finance.
Yes, exactly. And during her time, there are a lot of economic reforms that actually helped shape the Nigerian economic system.
But you hear statements like, this woman, they put her head tie for front like that. That woman, a very wicked woman.
That festival with, of course, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So I found out about her when I was like 14. And when I was in my era of reading magazines and newspapers and constantly seeing all these love columns tiered towards women, 10 things that a woman should do to keep a man, 100 things that a woman has to do to smell nice, to look nice. And I always wondered, where are the columns to the men? Right? Right. So I was always very aggravated whenever I saw
things to do to make him fall in love with you. Did you read all those guys?
It was back to back.
Like, sadly, I did. I'll not lie.
No, so here's the thing. I don't see that as wrong. My issue is it takes you to tango. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Right?
What are the men doing to keep the women?
Exactly. You cannot just be focusing your agenda on one particular gender and then leave the other one when it's the both genders that have to come together.
Yeah.
Right. And so I remember having the heated argument with my older sister, and she was like,
all these books are not
feminist though.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that? And then she was like, have you heard of Chimamanda? And I was like, no, who's that? And then, she introduced me to her books and I fell in love.
There's no going back from
There's
Chima.
no
Like the
going
moment you start,
back.
you're hooked. Like
There really is no going back.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the way she portrays herself, right?
the women in her book.
It's also the way she portrays the woman in her book. You can so relate to their characters. You can understand their struggles. You can see certain characters, and then you are like, yeah, I can see myself in this
can relate
person.
to
Yeah.
this.
Right, I can relate to this. Like Half a Yellow Sun is like one of my favorite books of hers, right? And Kainana was like that character that I was always
There's always like a serious conversation, and she's always arguing. Like she's too
I was-
opinionated.
I was always rooting for her because
Yeah.
it felt like that was who I was. Right, the things that I could see her, that was like, yeah, these are the things
Things I would have done. Yeah.
And then I have listened to a lot of her TED talks. We should all be feminists. I feel like that's a TED talk everybody should listen to. Everybody should listen to that because there are so many inspiring things that were said there that I believe that everybody has to listen to. Another one for me is going to be Funmilayo and Tom Kuti. Now, if you have seen the movie, right,
Yeah.
you would know just how much of her history has been eroded simply because she's a woman. Nothing pains me more than the fact that if you read the history, right, her history, one of the major things that
First too much to drive car.
and I'm like,
That's all I used to know. I thought that is all she's known for. Like, who is
you
the person
know the
telling me
things
of
that
in
history
history
taking
class
class?
government in secondary school.
during the British colonial
In
era,
history class, what did we even used to
What
call
did- what
it?
did it-
Current affairs. That's what we call it. Not
current
history
affairs,
class.
yeah, that's what we
They'll
used to
tell
call
us
it.
who is the
Who's the
first
first
woman to
woman
write
to
a
try-
guy.
And I'm like, so
Okay,
good to
that's
reduce-
all I knew.
Where would you reduce someone's achievement? Like, I understand the import of that, especially because if you're looking at that era, women were not driving, cars was like seen as a symbol of independence. I understand that. But let us add the other things. Let us not act like this woman did not rally, Abeokuta women and all of that to stand against the tax laws that were being imposed by the British colonial people at
No
that
one is
era.
talking about that too.
Right? Like, these were really important things that went to show leadership, radical leadership, especially in an era where women were barely heard.
Hard.
So you can, like, if you look
Women
at
want
our
to be
day
seen.
today,
They want to see women, not like they don't want to hear them.
exactly, they don't just want. If you look at our world today, where we still have a lot of women having access to things, access to opportunities, we can actually speak, and some people, if not everybody, can actually listen. This was a time when nobody listened to you,
Yeah.
yet she stood her ground. And then you are now reading her history, and then you're now like, can we not do that? And it's not just her, right? There are so many women in history, right, whose achievements have been reduced down because of
Little
one
weird,
thing or the
awkward
other.
things, yeah.
Right? If you look at Nelson Mandela too, right? And if you look
Winnie.
at Winnie Mandela too, if you look at the same exact things, right? The 27 years that Nelson Mandela was in prison, Winnie was one of the people at the forefront fighting, standing, championing every single thing that he fought for. And if you look at history, whose name is being recorded? Whose statues are there?
Yeah. The freedom fighter.
Like, no one is
whenever you
saying
do video,
this,
you see
but
like
do you understand?
videos of him like standing and his hand like
doing
this
all of
and
that,
everything.
and nobody's invalidating what he did or didn't.
Of course,
do.
yes. That's
But
about-
you cannot now say that he did all of that alone, or you cannot now reduce
why
the
is
work
that bias
we-
there? Why is that bias there where till today that woman is held accountable for certain things that she did that it does not even go
It
as
does,
half
it
as
does
what
not hold a grain of salt
As-
beside the things that
that
she does.
Mandela did. Because at the end of the day, Mandela, in a way, committed crimes too that led him to prison, right? He did. But why is no one holding him accountable? But the little things that Winnie, compared to Mandela, did,
Double
people,
standards in
it has
society.
reduced her hard work and whatever she has done to help with
Allows
the fight for freedom.
The double standards in society is alarming, and this might be a bit of a stretch,
Yeah.
but this was a conversation that I know that we're having earlier on about how that, especially for women in leadership positions, is a lot harder, or rather, society is somewhat more welcoming when you are seen as homely, or when you are seen as submissive under a man. And so it's like if you as a woman stand up, it's like if there's an injustice in society and a man stands up for it, everybody applauds him.
Yeah,
He's brave.
he's a good man.
He's a good man, right?
Yeah.
And then
The hero.
It's a woman.
if that same injustice were to repeat itself and a
Exactly
woman
the
stands
same one.
up,
Oh.
first of all, people would question her. What do you even know?
How are you sure?
How are you even sure?
They'll say she's arrogant.
So and then the next thing is you are being arrogant. You cannot listen to your elders. You cannot.
About this whole arrogance thing, right? I found myself in situations where I've been treated unfairly, and I came to like blotters about the situation. I'm complaining, and then it's obvious that what had been done to me
Was
is
wrong.
wrong. But someone had to counter and attack me from the perspective of how I chose to say it. Like, if I just calm down now,
Sorry.
why you can't they shout?
Sorry.
Why you can't they shout? So if you find yourself in a very extremely unfair situation, you go say, why you can't they shout? Like, I have to still worry about, yes, there's that, but why men could find themselves in similar situation and lose their cool and fight, tear shit, and they'll say they are men, they are being men.
them.
You made him angry, that is
So
why
that's
he
their
acted.
nature.
When a man beats a woman, it's the same thing. They'll say, oh, what did she say to the man that triggered him? Right?
So
So now we're trying to qualify the man's outrage, right? But when a woman gets angry, I'm supposed to be calm. Why is that
imbalance.
bias? Where is the bias even coming from to begin with?
Do you know, I believe one thing that our colonial masters in Nigeria, they added to that gender inequality, women segregation, because there was a time that voting in elections, you have to be a man to vote in elections. You have to be a man to make decisions. While women were left in the domestic field, they were just doing kitchen duties, taking care of the children, making family decisions. You put a woman to make family decisions, but that same woman cannot make political decisions on who she wants to be a ruler. So as then, they said that the men then have to earn an income of £100. So everybody's seeing the man as the head now. Okay, I be chairman for you. You're a woman. Shut your mouth. You don't have anything to say. That's one thing that led to one story I love so much, the about women's riots in 1929. They said that they imposed tax payments on this woman. This woman were to pay tax. Women
was
that you
ridiculous.
put, yes, women that you put in the kitchen to be taking, you put them at home. You don't let them work. You don't let them take part in decisions.
And now they're in the market
now-
fending for
Yes.
themselves.
They are not to start paying tax. This woman stood up and they protested against it. And to today, that's why it stands in the Igbo land that women do not pay
Pay taxes,
tax. Yes.
yeah.
Although they said about 50 women they lost their lives due to that protest. But I love it that it was a revolutionary change. It is something that, okay, you will look back and say that these people achieved
That's
their
actually
goals.
very amazing. Even till today, that thing had an effect where women in the what's it called the eastern part of Nigeria do not pay taxes because of the About Women riot. So it goes to show that if we actually do have like a collective voice,
Yeah.
and we have one mouth, we have the power
We do.
to actually change things.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Right? But the question still remains, like, the moment you open your mouth and say you're a feminist, it's seen as a negative thing, and then when you say you are a radical feminist, that is even worse, because now
Yeah.
feminist now is like synonymous to women that hates men. The
So
sandwich.
just to add, right, and this is something I always say whenever people bring this up. Think about any movement that has ever existed in the history of time, and you would see that it exists on a spectrum,
Yeah.
right? There are people that will go the extreme.
Of any
They would go
ideology.
the extreme,
Yeah.
and there are other people that would, just dip their feet into the edges of
Or
the
the
water.
surface.
Because we are human beings, and so excesses would abound. Now, if you focus on those excesses, then you're missing out on what the movement actually stands for.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right. So when you go on Twitter or when you go on any social media network and then you see people clamoring for the hanging and the killing and the whatever it is that they are clamoring for, understand that they are in the excesses. And of course, you cannot blame some of them because honestly, if you listen to the experiences that some of them have experienced,
Actually,
it's-
misogyny kills women.
it does.
Yeah.
Misogyny, like the
It
worst thing
so
that you could
does.
possibly think could happen. Women were born on a torture stake as a result of misogyny in the past. Like even in the early English society, women have faced all sorts of like the things, rape, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, in whatever aspect of life. Misogyny has made life difficult for women. So you won't blame women who have finally come to a point where they've developed some type of hate
Towards
for men.
it.
It's not the ideal thing. It's not the ideal way to go about it. But I'm coming to like sympathize with them from the perspective of they just. I think it's lived trauma
Yeah.
that has pushed them to this decision. But at the end of the day, even the so-called misandries that they talk about, have we had any misandries that killed women for the sake of it? Has misandry killed any woman? Killed any man? Has misandry put a woman? I'm not trying to support it because I'm not even one of those. Actually, I'm not zealous to the point where I would want to like. Because the fact still remains that
people.
I champion human rights.
Yeah.
So what
yes,
is the human thing to do about it?
yes.
So we don't even deviate, right?
There's something that comes to mind when you bring that up, and that's NSAS, which happened in Nigeria in October of 2020. It was a very emotional and traumatic experience for many, many young Nigerians, especially for people who actively participated either physically or, online.
Online, yeah.
But at the core of that movement, right, at the core of that movement was a group of women, feminist coalition, who decided to take things into their own hands. And they were able to raise up to, I believe, 150 million naira, even more than that,
Wow.
to be able to provide resources, medical care, aid for people who were physically, advocating and protesting in different parts of Nigeria. And we recorded over 100 protests across the world.
Wow.
That's a group of women who decided together
Yeah.
that we're going to come together,
Together.
put our resources
And
together,
have one mouth.
and have one mouth, and have one mind, and be able to better the society. Right. I've forgotten who I was speaking to. That I was talking about the fact that the bulk of the people who were being threatened by NSAS were men.
Yeah.
Yet we did not decide to see it as a gender thingy.
Let's just step back a little. Well, we're talking about misandry, right? If really feminists are a bunch of women who are misandrist in nature, the people that suffered NSAS the most are actually men.
And yeah.
Presumed Yahoo boys. If they see you with dreadlocks, they assume that you are
They see you fine.
you are a fraud. They will rob you, and if you don't want to give, they're not necessarily rob you, they will exploit you, and if you don't want to give them money, they will incriminate you and put you in
Some
trouble.
people were
and
even
some
killed.
died as a result. Who were dying? Majority of them were the male people, right? But women stood up to fight for them. So that debunks even the reality that feminists are a bunch of people that hate men, because there will be like our own way of saying, okay, the police is doing our job for us. We want the men dead anyways. So please don't answer us. Continue. But I think you mentioned they were able to raise up to like 147 million in support to see how they can actually end this thing. And I think also for the women that were also affected.
Yeah.
But that majorly, men were even more affected than women. So I think that goes to show that. But yeah, you were saying
And then
something.
there's also a major, I remember then a major champion, right? Of course, there's so many other people who stood, who were active. But a major champion was Aisha Yusufu, right? She was one woman who, through thick and thin, stood there.
Her ground.
Yeah.
She stood her ground. She was radical in saying that, no, this is our
It's
life
so
that we are
inspiring.
fighting for.
Yeah.
Right? This is our life that we are
Fighting for, yes.
And it's so interesting that when women come out to be radical, to stand their ground, to want to make a change, right? People oftentimes, especially society, oftentimes you just look for one tiny thing to just belittle the whole effort that they've done. Right. And so the question earlier on about backlash and whether or not I feel like it's half and half.
Yeah.
And what we are trying to do, what we should aim to do, is to close that breach. Less of a backlash, more
of
of
support.
a support, of an
Encouragement.
understanding, of an encouragement. Remember where we started from.
Yeah.
But having that backing
Backing will help you.
would help you,
to
will push you
stay
forward.
grounded.
Because 9 out of 10 times, when we see women being radical in leadership positions, they are doing it for the right reasons. Like, it's not just out of a selfish reason. If
You didn't just wake up one morning and be like,
and be like,
I just want to be a nuisance to society. I just want to fight men. I just want to fight the system for the sake of it.
Radical women, they don't change their lives alone. They make sure that they change
the
the
lives
world.
of other people.
Yes, there is an
They
impact.
improve.
In addition to that NSAS story, you know, most of our the police field is dominated by men,
Yeah.
mainly. Women got attacked by police officers. And during NSAS, one of the other protests too that they added to it was increasing the payment of police officers, people that
yes.
safeguarding your life.
Yes.
So,
I think there was a whole conversation about that where they said that the
Yes.
reason why some of these police people tend to be very dubious and tend to like succumb
Harass
to
people.
bribery and
Yes.
harassment was the fact that they're not paid well, so
Yeah.
they're under the pressure to meet up to
Yeah.
whatever financial demands they have. So if police were actually paid well, then they will
Would
not be criminals.
Yeah,
to
so
begin
imagine people you are fighting for, you then turn to you turn them to your enemies. There's this DJ too during NSAS,
This,
DJ Switch,
yeah.
one that took the whole the live
yeah.
video and
Yeah.
everything. God, I had all that DJ, like, even when they interviewed her, she just showed up with her tomboy self, wore her trousers,
like,
but
the bounce,
the
yeah.
talking fearlessly. But the amount of harassment she
got.
got, even from other citizens
even the
in
people
country,
that
even
were
from other
benefiting
males.
from that.
Yes.
I've heard backlash of people saying that she could be tomboy. Or
They even
are
say
gay.
she's gay. Yes.
Yeah, this one are gay. This
Like,
one
what is that? If it was a man that did that thing, they'll say he
In a
has
progressive
strength.
society.
They'll say he's bold, but it's the turn of a woman. They're
I
saying
didn't
maybe
say
she's
progressive
gay. How
society.
does
Now that
that
I'm saying in a
sexuality
progressive
relate?
society, I'm insinuating that ours is not progressive enough.
Yeah.
Nigerians, you're hearing me. You can hear me like I said what I
Yeah,
said.
it's
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. So I'm saying, like, in a progressive society, that shouldn't even come to like a conversation. Like, why are we having conversation about what a woman decides to like be or love or
Yeah.
like that really shouldn't be even like a conversation that we should be having even in matters of politics. Like, since when did my sexuality become so important that we had to have like a conversation about it in the political space?
I would
Yes.
How's
say
your business?
quickly.
Like,
that-
how is my fetish your business? How does that make the
How is
country
it?
better? Like the
No,
country is
but-
already bad. We have bigger fish to fry. And
Do
you're
you
making-
get?
Yeah, but she got backlash from every angle, even down to her sexuality, and she is literally fighting for everyone, not even just for women in that case, because men
Yeah.
are even also suffering from the whole NSAS situation.
Majorly men.
Yeah, majorly men. A lot of them died. So which is really, really discouraging. It goes back to show how being as much as women would want to be radical, seeing examples like this on the media space and on the TV actually puts some women, like, discourages women to say, I could be this woman next if I open my mouth.
Yeah.
And let me just keep my mouth shut and mind my
Yes.
business. So that also actually discourages people that are not bold enough to come forward because of the kind of backlash that the ones that do come. I think you were saying something about, like, you were trying to portray your point about the lady, like, what?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was seeing the lady, the amount of harassment
She
she
got,
got
yeah.
online, and even from our government sending threatening text to her that she's going to lose her life and all. Oh well, I'm happy for her. She left the country, and that was like one of the wisest decisions to do, because I am not sure in this particular time being radical. I'm not sure it is worth losing your life for this country where it is a male-dominated country, and as a woman, you are so inferior to them. To be so easy for them to kill you. Well, God forbid.
It's so sad, the double standards that women are constantly being faced with.
Yeah.
It's so biased.
It's so sad. Like, and it's so glaring. I was watching. There was something you mentioned earlier that made me remember a reel I saw on Instagram just recently, where someone was in an interview with men. Although this was not in Africa, this was in India, and asking, right, what happens if you are trying to explain something to your wife and she's not in agreement to it. And the man's response was, by the time I slap her twice, she will understand. And then they went ahead to interview multiple other
Like in a
men.
public, like,
Public place, multiple other men, and their responses was like, yes, a man can hit his wife, but he always has a reason, right? Women are very unreasonable. They
always has
they
a
would
reason.
do something, and it's so interesting. Just
tell
how
them making excuses
it's
for
like-
hitting
it's so
another human being.
interesting. Like, we are the unreasonable ones, right? Women are the ones that don't have a brain, right? We just don't know what to do. We need a man to direct
Wow.
us, to lead us. To show us the way.
About directing and leading, let me still take it back, because I had always hammered on the fact that this whole conditioning thing is so deep.
It is.
Deep into our core. Have you ever wondered why at a wedding a husband is called the groom and the wife is called the bride?
I'm going to be odd right now. Please go ahead.
What does the word groom insinuate?
Like
To
to
bring
take care
up
of
or-
or to bring
And
up.
who is the groom grooming?
Hell, the bride. Wow.
Like it goes even deep into things that
society.
My head has never gone there. It's an English word. Groom.
think about
You're
it.
getting married to your bride. Here comes the groom.
and
even in our diction,
it's down there. Even as
the conditioning goes down even in our choice of language and diction.
Wow.
And
That's-
it's not.
that's a very
it's
crazy
so
aspect.
normalized.
you're saying that, and I'm thinking about doing Here Comes the Bride as a young girl. And I asked my male friends now that I'm growing older, how many of you did Here Comes the Groom? How many of you went to wear your daddy's suit and you had your groomsmen? How many of you did that? Yes, it was such
I did
an
Here Comes the Bride. I
ingrained-
always liked to be the bride.
Do
Had
you
pictured
understand? Because that is the height that society has pictured for you. And
marriage.
you're
Just
expected,
marriage
and it's
alone.
expected that if you want any other thing aside from that, then you're an outlier. Then something must be wrong with you.
with you. You're not well.
You're not well. You're not all right.
Also, there's that about people not being comfortable with change, right? Let's even dive down to like the digital space, right? Even in Nigeria now, yes, there's been a lot of programs to empower women. There's been a lot of workshops, a lot of things that have been created to like make women like go for. I think that is like your space, like the digital space is your space, right? I've come to also realize that this conditioning goes as far as it even influences the decision women make. Like women do not have the audacity of
Oh
men.
my goodness.
Even
Audacity is a
because,
different aspect
like,
when you're
please,
talking about.
please put us through. Like I have an idea, but since this is like your field, right? Tell me, can you tell me like what are women's attitude? Even the ones that have dared to come into the digital space to like want to like better themselves or upskill. What is their attitude to like employment in that
Beautiful.
field? Yeah?
So the work I do, like I mentioned earlier, empowers women and young girls in Africa using educational technology. So what that means is that we have training programs, we have resources that we do to cater to ensuring that more women have equal opportunities
Yeah.
towards entering the workspace, especially in STEM. Right. And so we sometimes go to schools, we teach young girls on coding, on game development, just ensure that even from a young age, they understand that they have choices. Because honestly, many people don't even know that they have
They
choices,
have,
especially
yeah.
for girls.
Yeah.
Right. And I have seen over and over girls that we have trained, we have given them the necessary tools that they need, right, to be able to succeed in at least an entry level, say, cybersecurity role or a product design role or a product management role. And I have had a story of a young girl who, after I had trained for a while, still came to me and said that she had the interview.
Yeah.
All she had to do was show up. And she told me she didn't have enough confidence in herself. And I was shocked. Because I know for a fact that if it was a man, it does not have to meet up to 30 or 50% of the
They do it
requirements
because
of
they
the
have
JD.
enough
He
confidence.
is applying. Not only is he applying, he's asking for times 2 of the pay.
Pay.
And then you'd have a lady that she would read through the job description, and if she does not meet up to 60% of the requirement, she's not even applying.
Yeah.
So the honest truth is confidence. Confidence takes you takes you far in life.
Fire life.
And for
Confidence
many,
is a superpower.
it is a superpower.
People do
And
not
for
realize
many
that.
young girls, their confidence is killed at a
Very young age.
At a very young
See all these
age.
experiences of how, for example, when she mentioned where she's being shot down, she nearly lost her position.
Right.
These little things would condition her and leave her feeling like, oh, this is the
I
kind of
should not
society.
speak up. I should just, take
So
whatever
at the end
it
of
is
the
I'm
day, you
given.
find yourself with an opportunity. You don't even know how to
You don't know how to
interact with it.
maximize it. So it's one of the reasons why conversations like this actually matter.
Yeah.
Right, because we need to be able to speak out. We need to be able to speak up about the fact that women's voices need to be heard.
Yeah.
Right. And how that it's important that we see women in leadership positions for other women to actually look up to. If you think about the fact that, I want to become the next president in Nigeria, one of the first things people will tell you is, have you ever seen a woman become president? that's
And that's
one of
just the
first
truth.
things that
Yeah.
people will tell you.
Yeah.
And I like, if you are not someone with a high level of or a healthy level of self-confidence, that's enough to water you down.
It's true.
They'll tell you that you what do you want to do? You want to go and break things, but that's sit down in your house. So
Yeah.
we need to see more women taking up leadership positions radically. And then we know that, yes, if XYZ woman could do it, I can do it. If Dora Kinyili could do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
If Okonjo-Iweala could do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So that's why we actually need
There is
that.
not even proper documentation of a lot of these women.
I know that.
That is why the media the media is another tool that we can use. Like,
Definitely.
if that movie of the
Formula and stuff.
did not come out, I wouldn't know that this woman is more than the lady that wrote that was the first to ride a car,
Yeah.
right? So I think also proper representation helps us to see that, okay, if so woman can do it, I can do it too, right? I think I know someone that's been like I don't know, the lady is very, very strong. What's her name? Tasha. Faces a
Big Brother.
lot. Yeah, she's a very controversial influencer. She faces a lot of backlash and bullying on social media. I wonder how she stays sane, because there's some I see that I wonder, like, oh my God. Oh my God, how does she survive that? But the point still remains that aside the fact that social media is used to bully women that are very, very expressive and opinionated,
brutal.
it is also a platform that has also been used for positive things.
As much as social media is a tool, like any
Yeah,
other
it's a
thing,
tool.
and it's up to you to decide how you use it to pass across your message.
Good or
For
bad,
instance,
yeah.
that's what she said, podcast, right?
Yeah.
We are using it now as a tool to convey an important conversation that
Yeah.
everybody needs
Needs to hear, yeah.
Right.
What
so
she said.
That's what she said.
right. So the way we use social media also tells us how we are as a society. And that's why it's important. I would always say I'm a big proponent of the fact that words are important. You don't just use words anyhow.
Yeah.
Right? People and this relates back to self-esteem. Right? The words you say to people influences them.
Yeah.
You might not even remember how much of
But
it
it's
said,
it's registered.
but it has registered.
And it will
Yeah.
affect
And
how
it would
they
affect
think,
how they
act,
think,
yeah.
how they view themselves. And so that's why oftentimes we need to have these conversations so more people can see that, yes, it's important how we talk to one another. It's important how we relate to one another. It's important, when a woman stands up for herself, it's important the reaction that she gets.
Yeah.
So in other words, the media is like a powerful tool
Definitely.
for women to use as a source of their activism.
Yeah.
But let's see if we can digress a bit and talk to someone in the position of leadership, specifically someone that is in the core of the media. I would like to quickly just go to a corner section and have a one-on-one with a very, very strong woman in the media space. Now, what is the way forward for women? How do we unlearn this conditioning and now learn something, bring ourselves to the realization of a better way? What is the way forward? Well, how can we help? What do we need to do? Because we've put out all of the problems, right? But what ways can we? What
need a
what,
solution.
Yeah, what solutions?
First off,
Yeah,
I think we should start with scraping off those traditions and beliefs. Those ones are for back then. We are here now in the present state. We are in a society where women want to take up the space that they belong in. So I feel like even maybe in secondary schools, right from small as a child, now they start taking women empowerment as a subject. so that the males in the class, the boys in the class, they know how to value women. They know that a woman is not lesser than you. A woman is not a property to be owned by you. A
equal, a
woman is not
fellow
inferior
human
to
being,
you.
yeah.
Whatsoever thing you can do, a woman can do too.
too,
Whatever thing you feel like you have the brain and capabilities to do, a woman can do it too. So I believe that mainly in the society we find ourselves in now, women should be addressed properly. Don't Sometimes you see a woman wants to walk by a man, just say, oh, what's this one doing here? Like, what type of statement is that? You shouldn't say demeaning words to women. You should love women the same way you claim you love your mother.
Yeah.
When you see another girl outside, love her, accept her the way she is. Do not ever insult a woman. So that will bring a lot of change, because when women see that, okay, they are loved by the men in the society too, it gives you more courage
And
to want to come
confidence.
out,
Yeah.
to speak, to go for bigger goals in life. So I just feel like that's one of the things that should be done to increase female interest in leadership.
Yeah.
I would say,
self-confidence,
just
yeah.
piggybacking on what
Yeah.
she just said, first of all, how that we still are in a society where women still are shy from taking up leadership positions.
Yeah.
And of course, there are so many factors to this, right? There's the background. There is constantly being told that as a woman, you should not be in leadership positions. There is this scrutiny that comes with it. There's
Pressure,
also,
marriage.
there's also what I mentioned earlier about how that the society is more, allowing or accommodating of women that are already in seemingly marital or seemingly homely positions,
Positions,
right? If you are not, people are going to like the backlash is always going to be times two of whatever it is that you face, right? So those are multiple things, and we need to start addressing those issues one after the other. Why can't a woman be in a leadership position?
Yeah.
Why? If she has the competency, what is stopping her from doing it?
All the lies about women not being able to rule. Which one have they given the position to rule that hasn't?
Thank you.
They don't even give us the opportunity, and they assume that we can't.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like that, and it all comes from a mindset, right? Earlier there were some conversations we're having about the laws that we have now as opposed to 20th century or the 19th century, and how that legally now women have more freedom and more right to take up leadership positions. However, we don't see that in the implementation, and that falls back again on us as a society in the way they are being treated.
Yeah.
Right, in the way we look at them, the way we address them, just like what she said about upbringing. The things that you say to a young girl
Sticks.
It sticks so much. And as parents or as caregivers, teachers, people in positions where you're responsible
Power or
for
leadership, yeah.
you are, the words that you say matter. If we want to be intentional in seeing more radical females in leadership positions in the next 10-20 years, then we have to be more intentional in the way we raise our girl child
Yeah.
from today. Right? And in the way we raise our boys to also see girls. That is the way I see that we can move forward, right? And of course, using social media as a tool to make sure that
Very powerful.
we are opening spaces for women to come and have these kind of conversations where they can be open about the things that they are facing. They can be open about the things that they are trying to achieve. And of course, like we said earlier, the support, the backing. There's a lot of things that social support can do that we can't do for ourselves when we band together. There is so much we can.
About backing, like to wrap this up, right? About backing, I think I am a living proof of that whole point about having backing. Like, when we have like a coalition of women that protect each other's interests, right? It's like if you do it to a woman, you do it to me. When we have one voice, when a girl has a type of backing, there's this confidence that comes with it. My own kind of backing, I didn't go out seeking for it, but I started talking about women empowerment, just talking about women's rights, with the kind of poetry that I used to open this conversation. And then there are women that could resonate with it. It made a lot of numbers on social media. I think my second biggest fan base is US. I think they make up like close to like 20% of my followership. Well, that's a ridiculous number actually. So it's surprising. So like having this kind of backing, even in my comment section, someone said that I don't think I have the discipline. It's not discipline. Oh, sometimes I want to reply this comment. This comment gets to me, but I have girls that will come under that comment section and they will scatter everywhere. they will say their thoughts with a period, and then the conversation will go on. So I don't need to say these things. I've already said what I needed to say. I said what I said on my video, and people that are not comfortable came to the comment section to galavant, and then there are girls that are there to also fight for it. So it's like my fuel. It supports me. It keeps me going. So overall, I think from what we've been able to get from this conversation is to see that, yes, we need more women to support women.
Yeah.
In that way, it helps to boost our self-confidence and will help us to unlearn this thing, this self-esteem issue that we've been conditioned to
Yes,
have
definitely.
in general. So
Definitely. And just to add, we need more platforms like this.
yes,
Where women can actually come together and see that, oh, I'm not alone in my silo thinking about it. I'm
Yes.
not alone experiencing this. I'm meeting with another woman, I'm meeting with another woman, and then we are sharing stories. We are bonding, we are connecting.
We're
We are growing.
Yeah.
As women,
We are
as
having a
community,
voice.
a positive
Yes.
community.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
So thank you so much for having us, and thank you for today. We wrap up everything, and thank you so much for being here. That's what she said. Like, let's say it together. Like,
That's what she said.
and that's on period.
Thank you.
All right.
That's what she said.